But I'll just say, it's not always racism when a white person succeeds.
And it's not always racism when black people hip check him.
Caitlin Clark's about to leave the WNBA, and it's way worse than you think. We're not just losing a star player. We're watching the ugly side of sports destroy someone's dream, and Bill Maher's not holding back. In the next few minutes, you'll learn why Clark's being pushed out, who's behind it, and what it means for the future of women's basketball.
Show the tape if we're getting body checked. This is a game the other day, and I mean, that was pretty deliberate. And look at the other girl on her team coming over. See, if this was men, they defend each other.
It's a story of jealousy, racism, and what happens when you're too good for your own good. Ready to have your mind blown? You know what's crazy? Caitlin Clark isn't just changing the game. She's changing the whole dang league. This rookie stepping onto the court like she owns it, playing like she's been in the WNBA for years. In her first few games, Clark's been dropping jaws and breaking records. She's not just good, she's redefining what it means to be a rookie. But here's where it gets wild. It's not just about her skills, it's about who she is. Clark's got this magnetic personality that's drawing in fans who never gave two hoots about women's basketball before.
There's also a racial element to this. We can't deny that. And I have Charlemagne on next week. I'm going to talk about it with him. So I'll get you off the hook.
She's making people sit up and take notice. You've got folks who couldn't name a single WNBA player last year now tuning in just to watch Clark do her thing. Imagine this, a player so good she's making people who never cared about women's basketball tune in. That's Caitlin Clark for you. She's not just playing the game, she's changing the whole conversation around women's sports. It's like she's got this superpower to make people care about something they never did before.
The league is very lesbian, and she's not. And there's race. There's a lot of going on here.
But not everyone's happy. Some players are giving Clark the cold shoulder. Why? It's complicated. You've got this rookie coming in, stealing the spotlight and making waves. Some of the veterans are feeling a little salty. It's like high school all over again, but with million-dollar contracts on the line. You won't believe what Bill Maher said about this. He thinks it's about more than just basketball. Maher's not pulling any punches. He's saying women are catty, even the ones on your own team. Can you believe that? He's talking about how Clark's own teammates aren't backing her up when things get rough on the court. It's like they're happy to see her struggle. But Maher's not stopping there. He's saying this whole thing is a mess of race, sexuality, and good old-fashioned jealousy. He's pointing out that the league is mostly black and has a lot of LGBTQ+ players. Then in comes Clark, who's white and straight. Maher's saying it's creating this weird tension that nobody wants to talk about. Maher's comments opened up a can of worms nobody wanted to touch. But here's the thing, what if he's right? What if the WNBA's dealing with an identity crisis that goes way beyond basketball? Let's dive into the messy stuff. Bill Maher dropped a bombshell about why some players might have a problem with Clark, and it's not pretty. He's talking about race, he's talking about sexuality, he's talking about stuff most people don't want to touch. It's like he's poking a hornet's nest with a stick, and boy, are those hornets angry. Picture this, a league that's mostly black and has a lot of LGBTQ+ players. Then in comes Clark, who's white and straight. It's like throwing a match into a room full of gasoline. Maher is saying this is creating a tension that's about to boil over. He's pointing out that Clark sticks out like a sore thumb, and not just because of her killer jump shot. Now, some people, it's not fair to make this about race or sexuality. They're all like, can't we just focus on the game? But Maher's not buying it. He's saying we can't ignore the elephant in the room. It's like trying to pretend you don't see a giraffe at a house party. It's there. It's tall and it's knocking over all the lamps. You know what's even crazier? Some of Clark's own teammates aren't backing her up. It's like high school all over again, but with million-dollar contracts on the line. Maher's calling it cattiness, saying only women would do this to each other. Can you imagine LeBron not sticking up for his rookie teammate? It's wild. Aja Wilson, one of the WNBA's biggest stars, even chimed in. She said, I think it's a huge thing. I think a lot of people may say it's not about black and white, but to me, it is. That's players are divided into Team Clark and Team everyone else. So how did Clark go from college superstar to WNBA outcast? It's like she walked into the wrong party wearing the wrong outfit. She's got the skills, she's got the fame, but she's missing that secret handshake that makes her part of the club. And now she's stuck in this weird limbo where her talent is undeniable, but her place in the league is shaky. Clark might be feeling out of place in the WNBA, but her bank account is telling a different story. Nike just dropped a bomb that's got everyone talking. What does this mega deal reveal about the real forces shaping women's basketball? Let's talk money, cause that's where things get really interesting. Clark's not just making waves on the court, she's making it rain with endorsements. We're talking Nike, State Farm, you name it. But here's the kicker, Nike's throwing $28 million at her over 8 years. That's not just pocket change, folks. That's build your own basketball court in your backyard kind of money. But hold up, it's not just Nike. Adidas and Under Armour were also fighting for a piece of the Clark pie. Adidas was waving around $6 million for 4 years, while Under Armour was ready to shell out $16 million. That's some serious cash for someone who's barely started her pro career. Now, you might be thinking, good for her, right? But here's where it gets messy. Some people are saying she's getting these deals for all the wrong reasons. Imagine being the best at what you do, but people say you're only popular because of how you look or where you come from. That's the heat Clark's facing right now. And it's not just random folks on Twitter stirring the pot. Other players are speaking up, saying Clark's getting opportunities they never got. It's like they've been grinding for years, and suddenly this rookie walks in and gets all the attention. You can almost feel the tension through the TV screen. Bill Maher's not holding back either. He's saying the WNBA is treating Clark like a cash cow, more focused on ticket sales than actually supporting her as a player. It's like they see dollar signs instead of a young athlete trying to find her place in the league. But here's what's really wild. Nike's decision to go all in on Clark might not be just about her skills. Some folks are saying it's more about aligning with social justice movements. It's like they're playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers, using Clark as a pawn in a much bigger game. Turns out Nike's gamble might be pocket change compared to what's coming next. The fans are split, the media's in a frenzy, and the future of women's basketball hangs in the balance. How did one rookie manage to shake up an entire sport overnight? Let's talk about the fans, because they're not staying quiet about all this. It's like the whole country's divided into Team Clark and Team everyone else. You've got folks who are loving every second of Clark's game, buying her jerseys, and filling up arenas just to see her play. Then you've got the other side, people who think she's getting too much hype, too fast. It's like watching a tug of war, but instead of a rope, they're pulling on the future of women's basketball. And the media, they're having a field day with this. Every day there's a new hot take about Clark. One day she's the savior of the WNBA, the next she's tearing it apart. It's like they can't make up their minds. You've got sports analysts breaking down her game, culture critics talking about what she represents, and everyone in between trying to get a piece of the action. It's non-stop Clark content 24/7. But here's what's really wild. All this drama might actually be good for the WNBA. More people are watching, more people are talking. The league's getting attention it's never had before. It's like Clark lit a match, and now the whole sport's on fire. But you gotta wonder, at what cost? Is all this controversy worth it if it means players are at each other's throats? You know what's crazy? Some people are saying this could change women's basketball forever. It's not just about Clark anymore. It's about what she represents. It's about the future of the sport. Will this be the moment that pushes women's basketball into the mainstream? Or will it tear the league apart from the inside? Bill Maher's comments didn't just stir the pot. They blew the lid off this whole thing. He exposed the uncomfortable truth that nobody wanted to talk about. Race, sexuality, money, it's all out in the open now. And just when you think you've got it all figured out, there's another twist. So here's the deal. Caitlin Clark's shaking up the WNBA, but it's not all smooth sailing. She's got the skills, the fans, and the big money deals, but she's also stirring up some serious drama. It's like she walked into a party and accidentally knocked over the punch bowl. What happens next? That's the million-dollar question, and it's not just about Clark anymore. We're talking about the future of the whole league. Will the WNBA embrace the change or fight it? Will other players step up their game or step out? Keep your eyes on this one, folks. The Caitlin Clark story. It's like a basketball game that's just hitting halftime. There's still plenty of action left, and trust me, you don't want to miss a second of it.